Welcome to the Avida-ED studio. I'm Jay Bundy. In this video, I'll introduce you to Avida-ED 4's Graphical User Interface. Welcome to the virtual lab bench. Welcome to the introduction tutorial for Avida-ED 4. Avida-ED is a digital evolution model system that allows you to investigate evolutionary concepts using data from experiments you conduct with digital organisms. In Avida-ED, we refer to these individual organisms as Avidians. In this video, I'll introduce the view chooser, freezer, and lab bench that make up the main areas of the user interface. The view chooser contains 3 buttons to switch between 3 viewing modes. The first view is population view. This is the default view when opening Avida-ED. It contains the virtual petri dish, setup, and statistics panels. You use this view to run experiments and collect data. The organism button switches to organism view. Organism view allows you to observe an organism's genome, run that sequence of genomic instructions, confirm that organism's phenotype, and display an offspring's mutations. The analysis button switches to analysis view, which allows you to view data from saved experimental runs, such as the average fitness of a population over time. The freezer area allows you to save individual organisms, populations, and dishes with configured environmental settings. Saved items are referred to as frozen or saved. The Configured Dishes panel stores experimental setups for reuse to aid in treatment replication. The Organisms panel stores individual Avidians for use as ancestors in experiments or for examination in organism view. The Populated Dishes panel stores experimental populations for continuing experiments or for examination in analysis mode. The lab bench area is where experiments are performed, Avidian individuals and populations are observed, and data is collected and analyzed. When in population view, the lab bench shows the virtual petri dish or map, which is the virtual environment in which Avidians reproduce and the Avidian population evolves. To the right of the map are several information panels. When in setup mode, you can access the environmental settings to configure an experimental run. Here, you can change the dish size, the per site mutation rate, the ancestral organism or organisms that are used to seed a run, the availability, amounts, and pattern of resources in the dish environment, and other parameters. Let's see the virtual lab bench in action. To see an example experimental run with default settings, go to the population view, go to setup, drag an organism from the freezer to the ancestral organism box, and click Run below the map. The seed ancestor begins to replicate and its offspring spread across the dish. Click the Stats button to view statistics of the evolving population. To see an example of what the genome of a single Avidian looks like, go to Organism View, drag the All Functions item from the Organisms panel of the freezer to the genetic code box next to the genetic symbol near the top of the lab bench. The circular genome that appears is composed of instructions represented by single letters within colored circles. Click Run to observe the execution of this Avidian's genetic program. To see an example of data from a saved experiment, go to the Analysis Viewer and drag the example item from the Populated Dishes panel in the freezer into the blank central area. A graph appears showing data from this saved example run. Click the drop-down menu options from the bottom right of the legend to see different data plotted on the graph. In this video, we introduced the View Chooser, Freezer, and Lab Bench, along with some basic controls of the user interface. Additional tutorials with details about these are available at our website.